Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce our next international expert, Brian Swan.
What if you knew you had an expiration date on your life? What if you knew that you only had 3 months to live, maybe 6 months to live, possibly a year, maybe even 5 years? What kind of choices would you be making today? Well, I ask you these questions because when I was 16 years old, my father, he died of a horrible disease. But he knew he had an expiration date. He knew that within a certain amount of time he was going to be gone. And what choices would you be making, such as, would you be going to your job? Would you still be building your same business? Would you still be hanging out with your same friends, even being with your spouse or your partner? Now, this question I ask is because a lot of us, we don't realize that we have an expiration date in our lives. But I got to see life between the ages of 11 and 16 like I've never seen before. Now, the good thing about this, about my father, was that he actually lived 5 years longer than the doctors told him he was going to. So that's one of the times that you definitely do not want to take your doctor's advice, right? So has anyone ever seen the movie The Bucket List? Yes. Yeah? Morgan Freeman, Jack Nicklaus. Beautiful movie. Two guys that go to a hospital, get put in the same room. They don't like each other. They're on their deathbeds. They don't like each other at all. And what does Jack do? He starts writing down the bucket list. Starts journaling, right? He's like, yes, this is what I want to do. And he convinced Morgan Freeman to go do it. And they went off on this beautiful adventure. Traveled all around the world and got to do the things they wanted to do before they died. Now, I share this with you because now I've got to see my father create his perfect day. He was doing this. He lived the bucket list 20 years before the movie came out. He didn't even know what the bucket list was, right? I don't even think that it existed. But he was creating his perfect day. And what I want to share with you today is how you can create your perfect day today. And just 3 simple steps. And if I had my slide up here, I'd show you the journal that I actually wrote out. My first ever goals. I wrote out my perfect day. And it was from my wife, who actually had a vision bigger than I did. I was a corporate engineer, but my passion was surfing. And she had a vision. She said, I want to work in this online world. Facebook and YouTube didn't even exist when we got started. I thought she was absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Right? So then, when I wrote this out, I realized how powerful it is to write things out. And I've listened, there's so many stats on, like, it's 42% more likely for you to achieve a goal just by simply writing it out. And it's 82% more likely to happen if you write it out, then you take action on a daily and weekly basis. So it's powerful. So when I wrote this out, if you would have saw it, I basically said, I want to move to Hawaii, surf the world's best waves. I want to have children. I want to work a few hours a day, work online and do this. But I have to confess, when I wrote this out, I thought I was going to achieve it probably within the next year or two. I thought I was going to retire in the next 2 to 5 years because we were making the most money ever in our lives. We invested so heavily in real estate, and this was 2006. What happened in the American market in 2007, 2009? We got our handed to us. We lost everything financially. And here's my second step for you guys. You got to make a decision in life. And we had a decision right then, and our little daughter was just born, little Hanalei, not even 1 year old. And the decision came from my wife, who she vowed never to put our future children in daycare whatsoever. But we had nothing. So we had to make a decision on go back, get our corporate jobs. Both had beautiful jobs. Or, you know what, we be bold and we live out our perfect day, the thing that we wrote out. Because times are going to get tough. And so we did what nobody expected. We decided to go on a trip around the world. That was 8 years ago, because we already knew how to make money online. If we thought, if we can just apply this, maybe we can go travel, do our passions, inspire others. And now, here today, I'm speaking in front of you guys, and we've been traveling for 8 years. And if we would have given it up, I wouldn't be getting these email messages, Facebook messages, Instagram, every single day. Not every single day, but at least once a week. Thank you. You guys, by just living your lives, inspired me to take my family traveling around the world. I've watched you for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, ever since 8 years. So it's not just a duty for us, but it's a duty for every one of you. If you set out on doing something, people are watching you. So that last step, you got to take action. Because if you just write things down, make a decision, and do nothing about it, nothing's going to happen. So today, you can create your perfect day, because every one of you has an expiration date. And you don't know when it is. So live life today. I have an exercise that it was so near and dear in my heart that to create your perfect day, I recreated it. So if you go to unstoppablepamily.com, you can get my video exercise. It's free. And hopefully someday, maybe 8 years from now, you'll be somewhere around the world sharing this experience. So, cheers.